Hi everyone, and welcome to the 7th edition of Rachel John's Bookstore Tours. I can't believe there've been so many. I was about to say I think this is the first time I've ever visited one of the bookshops in real life, but that's not true because I have visited paperback merchants in Albany. And I'm hoping to visit all the bookshops that I'm chatting with. So today we have the lovely Anna from Anna's Shop Around the Corner in Cronulla. So I'm going to invite Anna to join us. Hi Anna, thank you so much for chatting with me.
Thank you very much for having me on. I can't believe you've done 7 already. That's fantastic.
I know. I was hoping that I would have enough people, willing to chat with me, and so far so good. It's been really interesting. One of my favourites so far was the New Zealand shop, Mrs. Blackwell Village Bookshop. So if you haven't seen that one, check it out. Anyway, thank you so much, as I said, for joining me. I have been to your wonderful little shop. It's called Anna's Shop Around the Corner. So you're Anna. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself and your shop?
Thank you. Well, I started the shop in 2008, and it was always a pre-loved bookshop and coffee shop, which it still is now. But we didn't focus on the books nearly as much as what we do now. That was just because I was nervous with them. But now it's fantastic, and we do lots of book events and have lots more to do with the books than what we ever had before. So it's great.
And you've got some fun things in your shop, because I have been there, that I'm hoping that you'll be able to show us in a few minutes when we do the little bit of the tour. I didn't know. And so 2008. So I'm bad at maths. So almost 13 years, is that?
Yeah, September the 20th. It'll be 13 years.
That's great. And before you had a lady there chatting too. I'm guessing you have a number of regulars now that come in. And so you.
Yeah, really weird actually. I've watched babies grow up, and there was a little girl who was in here who I did the christening for yesterday, and because I had it in my mind for the Rachel John's interview today, I hosted her christening when she was born, and now she's in year 7. It's just bizarre.
Wow. That is really lovely. And I think that, you've obviously got a really nice, not just, a book community there as well, but just a general, a lovely community where people feel at home coming in. Yeah, no, that's awesome. So a couple of questions. You've already answered the first one. You're 100%, which is how long have you had Anna's Shop Around the Corner? And where did the name come from? So I'm guessing we can guess half of the name, but yeah.
I actually must have gotten it from You've Got Mail, which I did love when I watched it the first time. Like, it's an early 2000s movie. I didn't even realise that I had it in my head for the shop. It was months after I thought of Anna's Shop Around the Corner, because we're around the corner from the beach and the train station and the mall as well. And it wasn't, and I told heaps of people, and nobody had mentioned it. It took me months to realise that I had gotten it from You've Got Mail, but I'm okay with that too. It's a nice
link. I think that's a fantastic link anyway. And I wondered what you were around the corner from. So around the corner from everything, pretty much. That's great. Sorry?
Except the park. We're right on the park.
Oh, yes. And I have been there, and you have got a very beautiful location right in front of the park. And we'll talk a little bit about what happens sometimes out on the park. So how did you said you started with, the cafe and less of the book focus. But where did the book sort of part come from? How did you decide to get kind of into the book industry?
Really, because I hated my job that I was doing, and I think how nice would a bookshop be to work in was probably where it came. But I first started dreaming about it in 2006-ish. It was years before we actually started the shop. And so it was right where Kindle was taking off, books were dying, record shops were closed, there was no more cassettes, no more CDs. And everybody was predicting that would happen to books as well. So I think I'd waitressed all through my 20s, all through. I'd always been a waitress. I think the cafe just came organically from there, because I wanted to be able to have any small business.
Yeah. True. So, and it's interesting that books haven't died, have they?
Yeah.
People still love print books.
Absolutely.
And I think, I read a bit of both, mostly print. The only reason I like my Kindle sometimes is because I can read late at night and not disturb my husband. Not that his work's away at the moment, so it's fine. So I've gone actually kind of back to more print, even because I can have the light on. And I know people like Kindle sometimes for taking a number of books away on holiday. Personally, I just rather a bigger suitcase. It's muscle building, if you've got to carry a lot of books, it's good for your health.
All the way.
Exactly. So, they haven't died at all. And I think that's great. And in some ways, in the last few years, print has even had another resurgence. I think we're on our screens all the time, aren't we? So people like to actually read a book.
Yeah, I wonder that too. Like, I know my little brother looks a lot to his computer for like fun time, but I think for me, the computer was always associated with work, like the screen.
Yeah.
And books are for relaxing, but I don't know.
That's a really interesting point because, I have 3 teenage sons, and obviously the screens to them are relaxing time and social time and everything. And it is harder they were all very big readers when they're little, but it's harder now for the reading to compete with what's, online. But I think, as you get older, sort of sometimes you come back to reading as well because you realise sometimes we do just need that switch off. From the world. Yeah. So I'm guessing, sorry, what did you say?
Oh, no, just love the switching off from the real world. And I think books are a real escape for that.
Exactly. And I sometimes have to still, I take longer to read a book probably than I should because I'm, I'll just check Instagram and I hate myself for it. So, if I was, anyway. We won't get into the politics about screens versus print. We just know print books are better. So I'm guessing you were a reader as a child. Sorry, I'm keeping talking over you because of technology. No. So what kind of books did you like reading as a child?
Oh, I was an Anne of Green Gables all the way. Loved Anne. And then I went into Nancy Drew, all the classics, all the Charlotte's Web, of course.
I love Charlotte's Web.
First big book that I ever read.
The Hobbit?
Yeah, The Hobbit. Did you love The Hobbit?
Well, it's a funny story with The Hobbit. I'm not actually a Tolkien fan because I'm just not, I don't know what's wrong with me, but, everyone I know seems to love Tolkien. I'm not really a fantasy type person, but I know that the story there is, fantastic. It's funny though, because my uncle, I think the only present he's ever given me in my life, he's lovely and I love him, very close. But I think the only present he ever gave me in my life was for my 10th birthday, an illustrated The Hobbit book. You got someone there. Hello, people. They're all wondering what you're doing. Tell them you're doing very important TV work. Anyway, so no, I haven't read The Hobbit and I feel guilty that I haven't read The Hobbit. My kids all have though. And I also haven't read Nancy Drew because sadly I wasn't that huge a reader in childhood, which is one of my biggest regrets.
Yeah. But then you've got all these great that you can rediscover or you can discover for the first time and read as an adult. And remember when you read Charlotte's Web for the first time.
That's true. Except there's not enough time as an adult to get through all the books I want to get to. That's the problem. I'm dreaming of retirement one day in lots of time.
Sweet Valley and Sweet Dreams. I loved those. Now I wish I had. Yeah.
Sorry, I keep talking over the top of you. I think there's a bit of a delay. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question and I'm going to try not to talk over the top of you. You've already mentioned you do author events, and I have been lucky enough to do a lovely author event at your bookshop. So because although predominantly you're a secondhand bookshop, is that correct?
Yeah.
But Absolutely. You do author events with new release books and you do sell the new release books then. Is that the case?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you got into author events, which ones have been your favourite? Of course, me, so let's not, we'll talk about aside from me, which is your favourite. And also what little interesting thing happens at the beginning of your author events? So, yeah, tell us a bit about the event.
You asked about what happens at the start. My partner is a bagpiper, so we always, whenever he can, start off with the bagpipes. But poor Pamela Cook has come twice for a book event and neither times has gotten the bagpipes. So you're very lucky to get them.
Oh dear, poor Pam, we'll be getting a complex. So I love the bagpipes because my granddad used to play the Northumbrian bagpipes, so a bit different to the Scottish ones. but it was lovely having them there. So yeah, what was your first author event? Do you remember?
Our first author event was Phil, and he was so nice.
I didn't quite hear. Who was that? Sorry, I couldn't quite. We didn't hear that. You went out for a minute. So who was it?
The first one, embarrassingly enough, and she was really good.
We're still not hearing. I can't hear you. Hang on. Okay, I'm going to pause. Come closer to the screen for a second.
Okay. So, I'll hold it properly. Our first author of Diane Blacklock, and she just did like an author talk rather than the interview style. So she was fantastic. She gave me all the confidence to start doing them properly. And her brother comes in here for coffee. That's how I got her.
Ah, wonderful. Well, I have a very big connection with so Diane Blacklock, you said was your first. I think that's what I heard correctly. Is that right? And yes. Diane Blacklock is my editor now. Yes. Because she's sort of gone more into editing than writing at the moment. So she's a fabulous editor. So that's a connection. That's interesting that she was your first. Yeah. And so what happens, like now you interview them mostly, is that correct?
Yeah. Yes, it's rare now not to be interviewing them, which is lovely. And then we can tailor the questions to what we're more interested in and what we just can't wait to find out. And so that's always lovely. And it's just a really nice, we get lots of interview questions from the audience as well. So that's really nice. Yeah. It's a lovely
I love audience questions when I'm doing events. And I've noticed you've streamed a couple now. So people can watch your author events.
Which is but very good. And we've started doing them with microphones as well. So we're very professional.
Excellent. All right. So do you sell anything? Well, we do know you sell food. Apart from food and your wonderful food, and anyone should follow Anna Shop Around the Corner on Instagram. And don't look at lunchtime because you'll see some yummy things and you'll feel like hungry. And I've been there. It's beautiful. So you've got delicious food and cakes and drinks and things like that. And you've got secondhand book and new books, new releases. Is there anything else you sell? I mean, that's quite a lot, but...
That's it, yeah. We're a coffee shop as well, so we do all of the cafe. We've got breakfast, lunch, sometimes dinners, good chicken leg pies. Doing soup galore now with the start of winter, so that's good too. But I'd love to just be selling books, but we pay the rent through the cafe.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And there's nothing better than eating and drinking and reading. So, I think you're on to a winner. Okay. Shall we have a little tour? Do you want to show us a little bit around the shop? Is that okay? And I also would love you to show us your menus.
So I'm very excited. So, okay, this is the shop. Here are the people. Oh, there's some more books. That's we'll come over here. Nice to see you. Here's our next.
It's good to see so many people. And I see the dressmaker of.
Can you see anything? Here we go.
Yeah, I can see Kate.
Lovely.
Hello.
Yes.
It's lovely to see people in there. Hello, nice to meet you.
Rachael Johns. This is so exciting.
And Anna, are you able to show us your menus?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for asking. It's the menu. And
these are the best.
Here we go. Oh, sorry. Right. No. Okay. There we go. There's the menu. The drink.
Okay. So it's
breakfast.
And can you show us the front as well?
I'm so sorry.
I'd love to. Yeah, if you get someone to hold one. Show us the front of the book, of the menu.
Yes. Right. Can you see?
Yeah, we can. So show us the cover because I'd love to see. Yes, beautiful. There we go. So every menu, hello. Every menu is in Little Golden Bookshop. A Little Golden Book, is that right?
There we go.
Do you make them yourself?
Sorry?
Do you make them yourself?
Yeah, of course.
They're fantastic.
Yeah.
They're just my favourite thing. More books.
Okay.
Lots of books.
Yeah.
So, is there anything? Do you have people coming in requesting specific books sometimes, and do you look for those, or you mostly just?
We get lots of. I've got a big list of people looking for specific books, and when
Rose, sorry, this is very real today.
Yeah.
We have customers and we have my dog. Rose, come here. It's a very, very. I think this is my least professional because the dog is in there barking her head off. So I apologise, Anna. Okay, we're going to ask one final question. Rose, stop barking. One final question. Rose wants to be involved. What is one book that you would recommend to everyone? I know it's a very hard question for people who love books.
I would always recommend a Rachael novel.
You go to the top of the class.
They're always
all right. Well, thank you.
They're so easy to read. They leave you with lots of concepts to think about and lots of things that always come up in real life. They're great books.
Oh, thank you so much, Rose. I apologise to you, Anna, for my dog.
Always sending people away and making them books elsewhere, and then talk about them afterwards.
Awesome. That's great. I mean, excuse me while I let my dog out. Quickly. Okay, apologies to everyone who's watching and to Anna. I let Rose, my dog, in when we first started because she's going off, as you can still hear. And I hope that if she was next to me, she would be quiet and calm. But instead, we've just had a total schmozzle, so I apologise. But finally, Anna, thank you so much for showing us your lovely store and for sharing some time. You want to tell us where everyone can find you on social media?
Oh, I'm all over social media, yes. Anna's Shop Around the Corner in Cronulla on Facebook, Anna's Shop Cronulla on Instagram. I think just Google it and it comes straight up everywhere.
Awesome. And I should have asked you. Sorry, what was that?
I'm not on Pinterest yet. I'm still thinking about it, but I think it'd be good. Pinterest is cute.
We probably would. It's just so hard sometimes. Social media takes up so much time though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I just want to ask you one final question that I kind of forgot. I noticed you have some groups in there that do book clubs and stuff like that. Is that right? The Wandering Women. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yes, we have a lovely daytime book club, which is really nice. We've got a nice nighttime book club. There's a literary book club. There's a few groups like Sandra's Squash Group that do their own personal book clubs in the shop at night time. It's so good. It's really nice. There's a Croydon Lane book club. They used to do cocktails, but then you had to start, it was with COVID, then they had to start ordering food as well. So now they just come here and they call the Croydon Lane book club, even though they just drink wine. Yeah.
I love that. All right. Well, thanks again for your time, Anna. And I hope everyone will check you out. And if they're in Cronulla, come down and have a look. You were perfect. Thank you.